Meeting the moment from being it's literally just being here now. It can feel like we need to do lots of things to get to being, and I understand that. If we've adopted the personal mode and we feel narrowed down in thoughts, we can feel like we've got to get back to being. But just want to point out that being is our most natural mode. It's our true nature, just resting and being. At rest, that is our nature. So if you feel like you're caught up in thoughts, we can just do a little walking home to the home you never leave. But we just have the experience of feeling like we leave it. So it's quite nice just to walk ourselves home. So the way I often point is to open the focus. And it's because when we're narrowed down in thought, we've almost adopted that personal mode, and it's this self-reflecting loop of a me. So all I point to is this open focus. So we're immediately in this broader view. And you might notice you feel this more spaciousness, more open to potential, rather when we're narrowed down in thought, it seems to be sudden running patterns, whereas we're opening up to the pure potential of the moment from this broader view. And that adoption of a me experience is based in that I need to get something, that there's something missing. But when we rest back in being, so we've opened this focus and now we can rest back in the body, using the physical body to feel into our formless nature, we can rest back because we don't actually need to get anything, because what we're looking for is already here. So when we rest back, it just gives it a chance to reveal itself effortlessly, because it's only not noticed because we're sort of covering it in a way. So there's this resting back, this opening up of the focus. And then we can feel like we're dominant in the head. So we can drop down in the body. Down, down, down. To this sort of ground of being that we've got this. We can use the physical body to notice how grounded we can feel in the physical. And we can notice the contact points of where the body meets the chair and the feet meet the ground. And what we're doing is we're going to direct experience now. We're not in concepts. We're just directly experiencing what's here. So there's the contact points. And we're just feeling into them without a story. Just directly experiencing what's there. And really, we're just meeting the moment there. There's the knowing of this moment prior to conceptualization. So the difference is there's just the knowing of the moment. The moment is already known effortlessly. It's just here. You don't have to do anything to know the moment. And then the way it's conceptualized is it's as if we adopt this personalization. I'm knowing the moment. I'm sitting on the chair, my contact point. So can you see the difference? One is just the simple knowing of the moment, the awareness of the contact points. Just the simple knowing of the moment. Just the direct experience of the moment as it is. So we don't need to fix or change the moment or improve it. Don't need it to be any other way. And we can notice there's a sense of sort of completeness and that when we're not trying to manage what's here, there's an okayness, a peacefulness that's just naturally here. Now, if we adopt the mind to contrast and compare it, it might offer, well, this is a bit boring. Is this it? But if we don't adopt that, judging the moment, we can see the moment's just what's appearing, just what is. And really, this is how the human experience is when we're in our most natural mode, when we're resting as what we are, when we're just meeting the moment. And this gets overlooked. Just the immediacy of the moment, the aliveness of the moment. The already okayness of the moment. Prior to the mind judging it, I should be warm, I'm too hot, I'm too cold. That's how the mind judges the moment. That doesn't mean we don't wrap up if we're cold, but we're just not looking for the moment to be different. We might take action from wisdom, but we're just allowing the moment to be as it is. And this is our true nature. So simple we miss it. So there can be thoughts arising, but we're aware of them. There's something that's aware of the thoughts coming and going. And what's aware doesn't come and go. We may feel like we veil it when we narrow down that view and self-reflect in the mental mode, but from this vast open view, we start to notice that awareness doesn't have a boundary. It just is. It's not confined to the body-mind. And this knowing of the moment is impersonal. We haven't adopted the personal mode. Still you, still what you are. It's just what you fundamentally are. What we feel like we've got to try and find when we're narrowed down in mental activity, we feel like we've lost this. But really, it's only this just adopting limitation because it can. How often on the spiritual path we are annoyed if we've adopted limitation, if we feel like we're caught up in thoughts. But actually, we can start to see that it's valuable. These textures of experience, that this formless awareness can be invited into to experience, also gives it chance to recognize its fundamental nature, to know itself through contrast, through texture, through opposites, and that's the world of duality. It may appear bound and contracted, but the opposite of that is this formlessness that we can notice here in direct experience, prior to the mind going, well, I experience form and it's going to offer all sorts of things. But I'm offering for you to look at your own direct experience, not believe me. Is this moment just already known effortlessly? is being here now effortless. And it's not a doing. We're not adopting a doer to get to effortlessness, which is not efforting. We're just we're just being. It's our most natural mode. It's what we all are. Human beings. Yet this can just, what we are can just adopt personalization and have those denser, richer experiences. But with that comes mental activity and, disapproval and not liking it and wanting to get away from that. But when you start to recognize what you are, what's here right now, prior to that adoption of the mental mode, and maybe adopting an emotion, my emotion, or adopting a grip, or, my grip, my tension. If we can just notice that what's aware of all the grips, the coming and going, the tension, the mind loops, is totally unaltered by all of the movements. Never becomes that separate self. And we've got a chance just to check out and see. We can have something really big in our lives, a situation, and we don't ignore that at all. But when we rest in being, we're not looking at it through that conditioned lens. We've got the space to take action from wisdom. There's a choice. But sometimes we don't notice when we're caught up in the loops. And what's caught up in the loops is your true nature. We never leave it. So could you leave what you are right now? If what you are is this open awareness, just the knowing of the moment, prior to the mental mode or personalization, can you leave what you are? Or is it just an appearance, appearing in what you are, that can temporarily veil this, but you can never become anything else. You can't go anywhere. There can be this experience of coming and going, recognizing the truth and then losing it, adopting personalization and then waking up again and going, oh, so caught up with thoughts. But all of that, even the thought I was so caught up in thoughts, is appearing in what you are. What you are is unaltered. It's totally free. And that's what the spiritual journey is for. And the journey is appearing within you. All the stepping stones home and the got it, lost it, and recognizing truth. They're all appearing within what you are. You never leave home. All the journeying home, all the recognition are just more experiences. So what you are can't be an experience because experiences change. But there's something that's always aware of the experiences that doesn't change. So you must be that. You must be what's fundamental. So let's just rest back and be. This non-doing. And when we rest back and be, without the mind judging it as boring or is this it? Without efforting, without grasping anything. Just that lovely sense of not having to do anything. gives rise for just the joy of being. Can be very subtle to begin with. Just that sense of peacefulness that we're looking in the ever-changing world is already here. So the fragrance of being is bliss, and it's uncaused. We don't need to grasp it or attain it. It's naturally here when we're not grasping and trying to change the moment. When we're just allowing the moment to be as it is. You might still notice your muscles relaxing, breath deepening. You might notice the breath in the heart center. This is a beautiful place to anchor. If thoughts are appearing, that's fine. We don't need to get rid of thoughts. We can just bring our attention to the heart center. Again, we're just being. We're not altering the breath, just noticing what's already here. Sounds in the room. The lights flickering behind your eyes. There's something that's aware of it. It's always there when you look. It doesn't require anything. It's not demanding anything of the moment. You may be able to notice that it's just this vast open space of being. And we can feel into the area inside of the body, the spaciousness. And then feel into the area outside of the body, the spaciousness. But can we actually find where the inside and the outside meet? I'm not meaning if we go to mind, thoughts will be able to create a story about what's here, but in direct experiences, there are actually a boundary when we don't create one with thought. Or is what we are, this alert, awake beingness, is it formless? Does it have a boundary? Is it infinite? So it's to feel into and directly experience for yourself. These are just pointers. What actually are you? What's actually here without going to thought? Just your direct experience of what's here, what you actually are, fundamentally. This vast, delicious you. Total freedom. impersonal. It's still you. Don't lose yourself, because you never were that separate self. It's just how this formless awareness, beingness, infinite being, can experience itself through form, but it never becomes the bound. It never becomes anything other than what it already is. It just appears as to experience itself in all these different modes, can adopt them. But when we check, this doesn't come and go. You're always aware of what comes and goes. So you must be that that's aware. So we can turn our attention towards what's aware. And just marinating the truth of that being. Not ignoring all of the appearances. But we get to experience that. We can personalize the bliss. We can enjoy the bliss. I am blissful. We get that choice to enjoy the bliss while fully knowing that what you are is formless awareness, or pure being, or the absolute. There can be this sense that we are, I am. And then it's a lovely portal into the absolute. Just this experience that you exist, that you are. But what even is that? We take it to be a separate I. But is it actually a universal I? So we don't go to thoughts about it. We just directly experience it. It doesn't have a boundary and it's not personal. But it's still what we are. What actually are you when you look prior to language? It's okay if thoughts appear, suggestions from the mind. We can just see that they're just like waves on the ocean or clouds passing through. We don't need to pick them up. We're that's aware of them, just like the vast open sky. It's unaltered by all of the weather, remains vast and open. We can have an experience of being pulled into thoughts, absolutely. But what's experiencing that never gets pulled in, never becomes anything. It remains this vast openness, this spaciousness. We can have an experience of being trapped in thoughts. But once we recognize what we fundamentally are, that we can't be an experience because we're aware of it, when these contrasts, these textures of experience appear, we can just see them for what we are, that we don't need to adopt them. There's a choice, and we can experience as wisdom and bliss, because what we absolutely are is attributeless. Yet it can experience itself through a body-mind. Can self-reflect in being, can just enjoy the bliss. Use the wisdom, right action at the right time. And if there is an adoption of the denser modes, it's okay. Because we know what's adopting that never becomes that. We never separate off. And it just gives us a chance to see what we actually are. That we're not lost. That we can't leave ourselves. I mean, can you leave awareness? All of the movements, the veiling, the narrowing of the focus, all of those movements are appearing in what you are. And what you are is totally unaltered. So this is a non-doing. So if there are thoughts appearing, that's okay. Don't need to do anything with them. Just feel into what's actual. We don't need to label it. You may notice the silence more. No, there's not somebody in silence. There is just silence. We are the silence. It's not apart from us. Your fundamental true nature. Not apart from anything. This is not transcending the physical. We don't need the moment to be any different. Your true nature doesn't judge the moment. It is the moment, apart from it. We can just keep reframing this subtle line. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the potential of the moment. Just this field of being has a potential to shape and pattern itself and experience through these forms, thought forms, emotional waves. But again, just feel into what doesn't change, what's aware, awake to all of the movements. We just get used to spending more time recognizing what's fundamental, what's prior to the movements. The more we do that, the less we adopt the identification with the movements. And if they are adopted, that's okay too, because awareness doesn't mind. So there can be frustration. We don't have to make it my frustration. It's just frustration appearing, thoughts appearing, sounds and sensations. And we just meet the moment from being. We get to experience sort of the formlessness and the form at the same time. This boundless awareness and the physical form. You may notice that the physical form starts to get less dense. The experience of walking is just air walking. And then you can experience a physical body. I think we have ideas of how it should and shouldn't be, but all of it is just appearances within what we are. So if there is any adoption, that's just to see that it's not what we are. It's just how we can experience ourselves. That's okay. You can feel like there's a point of view, a central looker. Something that's aware, but like a viewpoint. And that's okay, but we can turn towards that viewpoint. That one that's looking. Turn our attention towards that. You may notice even that viewpoint dissipates. It was just how what we are was creating a little position, subtle position for itself. But when we turn towards that looker, we can't find anything. Because what we are can't be pinned down, can't be labelled, never actually becomes anything. Yet it can experience itself as something. But we're never bound or lost, really. This is always available. And we can just see if there are those denser experiences, we can quickly see what's looking, what's aware. And it can feel like we walk ourselves home. But really, we've got a chance to see we don't leave. So we have the absolute view and the relative view, how the absolute experiences itself, how the absolute, which is attributeless, creates this play in order to experience itself. That doesn't mean we don't take it seriously. I'm not meaning that. I mean, the relative is how everything's appearing to the absolute. And we have a chance to see that we can view the relative from unity, and which is love and wisdom. So we don't need others to become more spiritual or fix them. We don't need the picture appearing to be any different. We're not judging the moment, not judging others. There's unity and wise action. Just an ease and a flow and a meeting the moment. So that's the relative view with an unconditioned lens. Or we can experience in the denser modes. This tends to be in the form of invitations through repetitive thoughts, beliefs, the concepts that we've been taught. Have to work hard, and it's based in lack and separation, and need to get ahead, and there's something missing. Tend to project out into the world a form, looking for what we feel is missing. We don't feel whole and complete. That just gives rise to these denser modes of experience. But we recognize we have a choice. So it's not the individual that's choosing, it's you're the infinite being choosing. Choosing to experience waking up, experience falling asleep. We've got a chance to see what we saw today. We turn towards what's looking. What's looking is unaltered by all of these movements. Doesn't need the bliss, doesn't chase the bliss, doesn't prefer one over the other. Just seem to like to experience itself, to to really dive into life. Is consciousness evolving within the story? I don't know. Are more people waking up? You see, it's all within the dream of duality. That doesn't mean it's not real. All the experiences are real, but what's experiencing them is not a separate self. That's where the illusion is. Never become a separate self that's experiencing all of this, that can actually change and fix and improve all of this. Yes, there can be an adoption of reaching for a better moment. There can be planning, and all of that can appear. All of that can be experienced, but what's experiencing it is not a separate self. That's where we the trickiness is. So easy to adopt that. It's not a problem. It doesn't matter. There's nobody at fault, because the one that tells itself it shouldn't be doing it doesn't exist. Not in a, not actually. Yes, can be experienced, but we never become that separate self. Never separate off from what we are and become separate. Do experience separation. But it's through personalization. There's fear arising, and I say it's my fear. I don't want it. I don't like it. And then we're just having that experience of an individual that needs the moment to be different. Whereas when we meet everything from effortless being, which is just this unity consciousness, there's spontaneous action. They'll be moving away from danger. There'll be wise action. Because you're not caught up in the story of a me. Of course, what's caught up in the story of me isn't an individual. It's infinite being. And being doesn't mean you don't do anything. We can just be with everything, and there's moving, talking, eating, working from being. And flow. There's wisdom, choosing the right action at the right time. Spontaneous solutions arising. When we're not narrowing that potential, because this is a field of potential for the infinite to experience itself. Pure potential. So we can experience ourselves in wisdom and love. No, it's not, we don't get love, we are love. It's not apart from us. We don't get wisdom, we are wisdom. We're not apart from anything. Even all the denser things that appear are appearing within us. So we don't need to push them away or manage them. We just allow them to be there. And then allowing those denser things to be there, the fear or contraction, or overwhelm. If we can recognize we're the awareness of it, with the vast open space, our formless nature fundamentally, we can just meet it all from being. And when we meet it, it dissipates because we're no longer fueling the idea of a me that's experiencing it. So those waves, those forms, thought forms, feelings, emotions, patterns of behavior start to die down, not because somebody's doing anything with them, because they're simply being met from the truth of your being, effortlessly. So we're not turning away from them because that would be effort. It's ignoring them because that's still doing something. It's just giving them space to be, giving them space to be seen. Just the seeing of them is enough. Just meeting them from being. Not somebody meeting them from being. Just being. Just the awareness of them. Prior to identification. Prior to picking up the personal mode. It's an awareness of thoughts. There's an awareness of anger. Fear. It's effortlessly appearing, disappearing. We can identify and then, I'm angry, I don't want this. I've got to get rid of it. Why am I trapped here again? That's just the personalization. There comes a point where we break up from that. And we can see that, oh, hang on a minute, who was suffering? Who was trapped? Can I actually find that one? And you wait in being, It's not doing anything. Again, we just wait in being to find the I that it's got this sort of story about being trapped. And we're not saying the experience didn't happen, but we wait in being this vast open space, awake, alert intelligence. There's no I to be found. No separate self I. There's just this universal I. So we just allow that moment just to be, recognizing there's no personal I. And all of the stress and identification just dissolves. So we're not meeting it to dissolve it. That would be creating a me that's got to get rid of it. Just being effortlessly with what's here and not needing it to fix or change. It dissipates. You can say we're meeting it from neutrality. I think that's what David Bingham calls it. There's not an I meeting it from neutrality, adopting neutrality. I made that mistake. That's why I'm pointing it out. There's just neutrality. You feel how neutral this open awareness is. Totally neutral, totally free. So we can just see the patterns, just the seeing of them, the knowing of them is enough for them to lose their power, because there's no power in the game of duality. Only the power we give it has no independent energy without our fueling it, without us needing it to be different, without us wanting to fix, change, or improve it. It's quite an interesting thing to see. It has no power. There can be all sorts of things appearing, absolutely. Things that need to be done, yeah. Meet everything from being. The right action happens, the right things turn up, and interesting solutions are being from wisdom, not from somebody being wise. Just this great ocean of knowing. It's already here, just this pure potential.